Hey everybody, welcome back to Political Excess. Today, while we're waiting for some more midterm results to get finalized, let's do a hypothetical 2024 matchup between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Let me preface this by saying this is very difficult to do. It's so speculative. Given we don't know what the issues in the environment are going to be at the time, we know Trump has a lot of baggage. We know he has his strengths and his weaknesses, and we know Biden, he's lackluster himself. He has some strengths and some weaknesses as well. So if Trump was the nominee, it's hard to gauge how strong his brain would be at this point in time, given everything that's happened over the past 2 to 4 years. Let's try to go through this anyway. Safe states over a 10-point margin, likely 5 to 10 points. Lean under 5 points, tilt 1 point or less. Safe states for the Democrats, these are all really obvious. Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, California, Illinois, Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and I'm also going to put Colorado in there, given Biden won it by over 10 last time, as well as Virginia. It was closer than Colorado, but I still think at this point Biden would be winning that by over 10. Now the safe states for the Republicans, there shouldn't be much discussion about these. Idaho, Utah, Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, and West Virginia. Real quickly, let's cover Nebraska and Maine as they split their electoral votes. In Nebraska, I think Trump would win it at large by a safe margin, but in that second district that has Omaha, it did get a little bit redder following redistricting, but I still think that Donald Trump would be at a disadvantage in that district. Joe Biden would win that by a lean margin. It could even be a likely margin. Over in Maine, I think Biden would win that at large by a safe margin. The first district would be very safe. The second district, I have that as a likely for Donald Trump. Let's go on to the likely states for Joe Biden. First is New Mexico. That could be borderline safe. Over to Minnesota. That will be another likely state for Biden, as well as New Hampshire. Trump lost that easily last time. I don't think he would do much better in it this time. So those are all likely for Biden. Now onto the likely states for Donald Trump. First is Alaska. Trump did win that by over 10 last time, but right now his brand is probably not as strong as it was, and I think he would get that under a 10-point win. Next, over to Texas. That'll probably still be likely, over 5 points for Trump. It's hard to say for sure, though. We're not sure how much his appeal would have in the Rio Grande Valley and if he would shed support in the suburbs. Next is Iowa. That would be borderline safe. Trump would still do well there, but probably under a 10-point margin. And the next state is Ohio. The Rust Belt states are very tough to call, given everything that's happened over the last couple of years. I think Trump would probably do worse in many of these states. He would still win Ohio by over 5, but I don't think it would really get up to 10. And the last state actually I have is Florida. This was a tough call to put this over in likely, given what we've seen in the midterms, given the strength we've seen Trump have in Florida previously. I'm just barely going to put this as likely. Even if Trump does lose support in the purple areas, the trend of the state does seem to give him a little bit more of an advantage there. Now on to the lean states. For Joe Biden, first is Arizona. As of now, I think it would go for Biden. I have a hard time picturing Trump turning it around there and winning that state. And the next state is going to be Georgia. Similar story as Arizona. The trend of Georgia has been to the left, and I don't think Trump is going to come out any stronger now than he did back in 2020. Now the lean states for Donald Trump. There's only one of them, and that is North Carolina. This is borderline tilt for me. I still think, all things considered, Trump would win this by 1.5 to 2 points. But this is a state that is in play if the election were held right now. And let's go on to the tilt states for Joe Biden. First is Nevada. It's hard to predict the trend of this state, given we're not totally sure what's happened in the midterms yet. But I just don't see Trump doing any better there than he did 2 years ago. So Biden would carry Nevada. Next is Michigan. Tilt might even be generous. He could win this by 3 or 4 points even. I think Trump's brand is damaged just a bit too much. And I think it would cost him about 2 or 3 points in many of these states, including Michigan. And the next state is Pennsylvania, and it's a similar story. This could even be a lean margin. It's hard to picture Trump actually flipping it, given everything that's happened over the past couple of years. However, I'll throw him a bone in the last state here, and that is Wisconsin, and that will be a tilt for Donald Trump. Yes, he did lose this very narrowly 2 years ago, and yes, he could lose it again if he was the nominee. But of the Rust Belt states, Wisconsin is probably the most likely to trend toward the right, and I'm going to say he would be able to flip that and pick it up by under 1 point. but it could definitely go either way, as well as several of these other states. So that would be my final map, and that would result in 245 electoral votes for Donald Trump, 293 for Joe Biden. In this rematch, as of now, Joe Biden would win. I understand you could make a case for some different scenarios here. You could say if Donald Trump was on the ballot, he would fire up all those deep red counties. They would turn out with huge margins. Yeah, maybe. But I still think over the past couple of years, the coverage he's gotten has been so negative. Plus, he's already been out of office now. I can't imagine those red counties turning out in greater margins than they did 2 years ago. And I think a lot of the purple vote in the suburbs, as well as the blue vote in the cities, they would turn out and vote against Trump. And I think that he would have less of a chance than he did 2 years ago. So I just don't see Trump actually winning this race as of right now. Maybe if there's a really big scandal that comes out over the next 2 years. Even then, I think there's just way too much hatred for Trump. Of course, the media is going to go after him with everything they've got, and the economy might improve a little bit, and all that would help Joe Biden. I think right now 2016 was the crazy fluke where Hillary Clinton was a weak candidate. Democrats got complacent. They didn't take Trump seriously. Polls were not picking up on these new voters that were going to turn out and enthusiastically support Donald Trump. Since then, as I said, everybody has turned against him. There's been far too many scandals. Mail-in voting now has been expanded so much, and that's not really helping out Trump at all. I realize people have counted him out many, many times before, and he's come back and he's won. But this is the map I came up with. Let me know in the comments. Do you mostly agree with this map, or do you disagree with this map? Let me know down below, and if you enjoy this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next video.